Hello, my name is Kennedy. I'm a grade 5 student at Downtown Alternative School in Toronto. My question is, how will you make the city streets safer for everyone?
Everyone deserves to feel safe in the city. First thing I would do as mayor is to fix 911 wait times so you're never put on hold when you call in an emergency. I will also invest in the Toronto Community Crisis Service, which diverts 911 calls to 211 and send crisis workers to certain situations, like when someone is having a mental health issues. This would free up the police to focus on the calls they need to respond to and make our city a safer place.
Thank you, Downtown Alternative School, for the question. Yes, I have a plan to make our city safer for everyone. On the TTC, I'm going to have trained professionals who can identify individuals with the potential violence and de-escalate the situation before a tragedy begins. I'm going to be supporting the police to do the work that the police should do, whether it be road safety or stopping people who are stealing cars out of people's driveways. We need to make sure that we have a focus on the root causes of violence in our city, whether it be mental health, poverty, racism, or our youth who are vulnerable, who know they need, whether it be trauma counseling, homework help, or job opportunities to get onto the right path. We need better road design to make sure that our streets are safer for everyone. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, but that's my focus and that's my plan.
You know, when I was a teenager and shortly after I arrived to this country, I had a part-time job every night with my mom downtown. And we would come home about 9:30, 10 o'clock. It was actually our time to connect. And we felt safe. I'm not hearing that from people today. I'm not hearing that from youth today. That's why my public safety plan addresses safety in our TTC, safety in our streets, but also a safe city for the future. We need to have a well-funded and well-trained police where we can expand programs like the neighborhood police services. Like we tackle the 911 response time. I will fix that. It is unacceptable. People have to wait 7, 8, 9 minutes to have a response to their 911 call. But we also need to make sure that when somebody is in mental health distress, that they have the appropriate services. The city created a unit to respond to those kinds of calls, but it only serves 60% of the city. I will expand it to 100% of the city, and I will create mobile mental health clinics as well. This is not an either or. This is all hands on deck to make sure that people feel safe, to make sure that we have the appropriate response when we need it, and that we have our police service to be able to focus on crime like homicides, auto theft, and so on.
Toronto has to be a safe city. People have to be safe and feel safe in our city. I have a 5-point plan for safety on the TTC by pairing transit officers with social workers and making sure that our TTC is safe for everyone who rides it. I've been a long champion of ending gun violence in our city by making it a public health issue. And this is something as mayor, I will ensure happens. Safety is everyone's concern, and it's not just about when violence occurs, but we need to ensure that the root causes of violence don't happen in the first place. I want to make investments in our young people, in recreation programs and services like more public library services in neighborhoods, and making sure that this is a city that is safe for all.
How will you make the city safe for everyone? You know what? I hear from students all the time that they don't feel safe riding Toronto Transit. And you see it in people's body language at the subway stations. Their backs are against the wall because, they're concerned that they might fall on the tracks. Maybe your parents are having you send a text message when you get on the bus or when you arrive at school. Everybody's concerned, and we have to restore safety to the TTC. I have my Safe TTC Now plan that will do just that. We're going to install platform edge doors at our busiest stations to make sure people don't fall on the tracks. We're going to have more special constables and a security presence at our stations to keep everybody safe. We're also going to invest in social workers to make sure folks who are experiencing mental health crisis can get coordinated services when and where they need it across the transit system. And lastly, I will bring cell service to the TTC. It doesn't matter who your carrier is, you need to stay connected. Make the TTC safer and ridership will come back.
Well, first off, I come with the best experience out of all of the candidates. The fact that I've served the Toronto Police Service for 38 years, the fact that I've worked right across the city and with all of the communities from north, south, east, and west, and also I've worked with all levels of government to make sure things can be done to keep our city safe. If you heard me in the past as chief, I said over and over again, we cannot arrest our way out of this. And that is so true. Law enforcement plays a key and critical position when it comes to that, but city government is responsible for every single agency. If we can take care of things at the lowest level when it comes to social issues, when we talk about disorder or random crimes, then it keeps our city safer and allows the police to do what they do best. But right now, city government is not spending proper funding when it comes to community safety. I'll make sure that there are outward-facing resources that are there to make sure in real time we can deal with people that live with mental health, to make sure we can deal with people that are suffering from addiction, so that we don't have to wait until their behavior becomes criminal. You have my assurance that I have the best understanding of how to use the tools properly to make your city safe, and I will do just that.
My plan to make the city safer for everyone is to make better use of our existing resources, particularly at Toronto Public Health and our Toronto paramedic services. There's this really big opportunity to look at public safety through the lens of public health. And with Toronto paramedics, the mobile crisis unit, the Toronto community crisis services, we can have a more on-the-ground approach to making sure that violence doesn't enter the TTC by having people at the toll booths. The toll booths are greatly underused, and there's an opportunity to have medical teams responding before people enter the platform. And that's how I would like to deal with the underground violence, and the above ground violence is dealing with the fact that police are underutilized and they're overutilized. They're currently working as healthcare workers, mental health providers, youth workers, and they shouldn't be. They should be focusing on reducing fraud and scamming activities that take from hardworking people and fund organized crime.
Will you lower